I want to talk a lot about what you have going on recently. First, I'll start with Just Say Yes.
Oh, great. Oh, you're so sweet.
It's a really fun video. I got a chance to check it out. It's been pretty successful online. How did you how involved were you in the treatment, and how did you kind of come to uh, the final product? I'll put it that way.
So that's a great question. And a lot of my brand and branding, if not wrestling, Bill is, and it is Bill. I call you Bill, right? Okay. It's always like how to save money and make things stretch. And I think that's so important for not just like singers or artists, but like for everybody that's like got some side hustle that they want to do or a dream that they want to pursue. And they're like, how will I ever do this? And it's don't be intimidated by things. Like always look for resources, ask people. You don't want to ask people that are going to compete with you. Like you want to tread softly, but like just your normal buddies that like aren't going to like backstab you, like ask them questions
Yeah.
and they will have resources for you or ideas on how to find things. So very involved with the treatment. For that video, we actually were driving on tour and we were in the bus, and I love to get my bandmates opinions and ideas on things, and we were brainstorming on, well, what would Just Say Yes be? And of course the obvious thing is like, oh, marriage and proposal. It's like, that's enough of that. We already had a song like that years ago, gag. And we were like, oh, let's do like used car sales sleazy man, and like then like, no, maybe you could be the sleazy woman. And I'm like, okay. And then we'll get all, let's do retro, and let's do, so we had this great idea for that. But then by the time you like, okay, all the retro cars and how is it going to look, it's like, that's so much to look authentic that we're like, all right, let's take the same 70s vibe. And then what else could we do? So it literally took like 6 months of collecting shit
Oh,
to get all that stuff. And then, of course, I called my dad, who was like more than happy to go digging through the cupboards. And oh, I got this lunchbox from the 70s. And so he couldn't wait to break out all of his freaking treasures. So, the all the products in there, the muff magic, and like there's all these like those were my bandmate Rod Saylor's ideas. I'm like, give me some dirty, funny names of products and soaps and vacuum accessories, and they all came up with funny stuff. And then I just went to the dollar store and like bought all this junk and just printed out. You know what? This is a trick. You get a sale at Walgreens or some drugstore for photos. And as long as the photo can fit on whatever you're doing, just print out a bunch of photos and cut them out and glue them on. It looks badass. So we did that. We say we did that video on a dime, but it was really, really, really expensive. So yeah, but that's how it came to be. Thanks for asking. That's a great question.
my follow-up was going to be how much did it cost compared to a traditional video, because I've seen Extreme Cheapskates. If anybody that's watching
Yes.
hasn't, uh, some of that some of that show is you showing or explaining like, okay, I could spend X amount
Yep.
of dollars on this, but here's the way I'm going to do it. So how many, I mean, you kind of just said it.
Now I'll just
You
say it
spent
like that
6 months
video.
collecting, but
The video should have been like around 40K. It
hmm,
wasn't. And the way that I saved money was we got a lot of our stuff out of trash bins and trash cans and dumpsters and bins. All of the clothing was secondhand, a lot of vintage, of some vintage stores that I traded with, saved money there. The production crew gave me a one time slide by. That's why we're doing a GoFundMe right now. Wink, wink. We're doing GoFundMe right now because Mickie James is in the next one, and like the production value has to be as good as Just Say Yes, if not better. And now I'm not getting my production favors this time around. I'm gonna have to like pay the piper, which is fine. Like what a blessing and gift that they even did at one time, right? So we had a lot of people helping that I underpaid because I said this is a great experience. Let's get your name out there. Let's network. I'll still pay you something. This is what I have. So we'll talk about that in a second. Bookmark that. That's a good story. This is what I have to work with. Would this work for you? And if it doesn't, then oh well. At least you asked. They told you to go to hell. Like that's the worst that can happen is somebody can say no. Another way I really saved money on Just Say Yes. Oh, okay. So some of the locations were very expensive, right? I mean, they're like a lot. It's hourly. It's a crazy rate. So instead of using some of the websites that you find them on, like the Airbnb type, I won't say the names because I'm actually on some of those with my studio. So I don't want to trash talk. Don't bury. I just directly contacted the person and said, hey, can I pay you just Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App? I'm legit. Here's my insurance doc. Like, Can I just pay you under the table from where I saw the advertise? So, I mean, yeah, I was undercutting somebody, but like, you got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? Like those booking agencies, Airbnbs are doing fine. They're making their money. So that's another way. It's like, if you really want something, figure out, okay, who's involved and how much money do I have, and lay it out. And I've got one more story for you if you've got time on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my studio floor, I had it done by this guy who was going to be the floor guy for the neighborhood. And I just want my reputation to be, well, yeah, he wanted his reputation to be golden. Well, let me tell you, this guy was like, he should have been a con artist. It was a floating floor, but yet he had buckets of $70 glue that he kept making me go buy. So that's not a floating floor, Bill. And it
No.
was just this gummy, and I'm like, oh my God. Anyway, he left to go get something and he never came back and left my floor halfway done. It was just a disaster. And I'm like, what do I do? I've just spent my whole budget that I had for this floor. My buddy came over, we chipped it up. Now it's just this gooey mess of like just disaster. Finally got it all back to kind of where it started from. Well, I only had $200 left. Placed a Craigslist, which is now like Facebook grouping neighborhood. I said, hey, I've got this floating floor. I've got $200 left to install it. It's all I have. I know that's an insult, but it's what I have. I got F you, go to hell. Who the hell do you think? I mean, it was just like 50 people nailing me to a cross for even insulting them, thinking of to, except for one person. One person was like, yeah, I'll be there. What's the address? But you have to pay me cash and in installments. So he shows up. He's got a couple of guys with them. This is a big $200 job, mind you. And he's like, pulls me off the side. All right, every 15 minutes, I'm knocking on your door, lady, and you're going to give me my installment. I was like, whoa, okay. You're not going to screw me, because if you do, I'll take that truck and I'll drive it right through your whole house. You don't have to worry about a floor anymore. And I was like, okay. This guy was like, I don't know what his deal was, but he was doing a great job. And every 15 minutes, here's your money. Here's your money. Don't tell the guys. I'm like, I won't tell him about the big $200. When he got done, it was the most beautiful floor I've ever imagined. And I still have it to this day. And this guy just kicked ass. And somebody took my bid for $200. And he had tears in his eyes. And he said, hey, lady, if you ever need me, I don't have a phone because I just got out of prison. But here's my old lady's cell. You call me, I'll be there. I won't drive my truck through your. I really appreciate this $200 cash. It's my baby girl's. It's 2 days before Christmas. It's Christmas. And now I've got some money to buy, because he just got out of prison. Now I've got some money to buy my kid some gifts. And I was just like, oh my God, like you never know what you throw out into the universe, like who's looking for what you have. And it might seem like to you, it's a joke or nobody's going to ever take me seriously, but give them a try. And there's plenty of people out there that will do videos for way, 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 way less. We're just trying to keep up in the ante. So we're figuring out ways to do that. Great question.
At least there's a happy ending, or
There was a
there's
total
some
happy ending.
sentimental elements to it. I mean, have you ever run into the guy again?
I never have. Like, he literally looked crazed when I first saw him. And I'm like, what the hell? And then it just reminds you of like, who are you letting into your house and whatever. But I'm telling you, for as crazy as a reputation as Craigslist has, I've gotten the best bandmates. Our guitarist now is from Craigslist. Can you fucking believe this? Like, the greatest member we've ever had in our band today, out of all the Facebook ads and all, because you know what I get on Facebook? A bunch of hate, a bunch of assholes in the music business that want to see me fail and knock me down, and they just can't wait to see me. But Craigslist is like this weird, and here he answered it. And these new songs, the videos that we're doing right now that we're talking about it, the new ones that we're doing for the GoFundMe are all because of Craigslist ad that I threw out there. Don't cast your net when you want to do stuff wide. All kinds of different ideas. There's so many, but you got to get off your ass and do it, Bill, because it's not going to happen for yourself. God helps those who help themselves. My mom used to always say that, my late mother. You know, you're not just going to like be sitting in your living room with your feet up on the coffee table with a bottle of Cavassier and like the universe is just going to go, here you go. Like, go out and figure something out. And it will reveal itself, but you got to play the lottery to win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Craigslist used to be a decent place.
It did. It's still, there's still whack jobs on there, but I'm telling you, you can still find some really interesting people on there.
So I will mention, if you go on GoFundMe and just look Goldy Locks band, it comes right up. The two videos.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Okay, so check this out. I'm asking everybody that I know that's cool for $10. Basically 2 boxes of virtual Girl Scout cookies. Okay. So first off, everybody wants to buy. They want to buy us drinks at shows.
Mhm.
This is a way to buy us a drink at a show, but your name's in the credits and there's all these really cool incentives. But I haven't told anybody this. I'll tell you this. I'm keeping tabs of all the mother truckers that have stepped up this round. And we're doing another video. My mind is like a chess game. So 5 videos, 3 more down the pike. We're going to do a very, very, very special video where we're going to include, I won't say what, but something about people. And the people that have all kicked in this round, they're gonna have first dibs because there's only gonna be so much room. It's gonna be very, very, very special. We've done something similar to it years ago, and it was like a massive success because it's not about me, it's not about the band, it's not even about the supporters. It's about somebody that they love that has passed. So they're going to get first dibs for that. They don't even know that, but like that's just a fringe benefit of the deal that I'm just so excited to be able to say, hey, oh, by the way, since sight unseen, you helped us out before. Here's something I want to do for you. I love doing that for people. And then all the guys that send me dick pics and hey, what are you doing? All this like DM slithering stuff. Like the best way to get rid of somebody is say, oh, by the way, here's our GoFundMe. And you never hear from them again, Bill. It's crickets. Like you cheap mother. You're going to talk this game about, oh, I'm going to take you out. Where are we going to go? Where are we going to go? We're going to go to Taco Bell dollar menu or the BK Lounge dollar menu, maybe split something for $1. Like you won't even kick in $5 or $10 and you're trying to woo me. Like, man, I'm enjoying seeing people's true colors or these people with money, like a shit ton of money that own, they're like, I won't even say, they're like huge, huge guys out there. I'm like, hey, will you kick in $10? And it's like crickets. And I'm like, you cheap bastard. So I'm enjoying it.
Well, hopefully this generates some more attention for it.
Oh my God. I'm just telling you, I say it's not about the dough, bro. It's about the connection.
Mhm.
And just, I love to this day seeing patrons' names in videos or projects. Like the people on our Patreon, like I literally consider, even if they've dropped off and don't pay anymore, I
Mhm.
consider them friends for life. Like I never say the word fan, Bill. It's offensive to me because I'm not the freaking Beatles or Michael Jackson or Madonna. Like they had fans, Metallica, like those are fans. Taylor Swift, okay, and even Taylor Swift doesn't treat her people like they're just these fans. It's like she has these people over to her house in New York or here and listening parties. And I just get excited because the patrons that we have, I consider them dear friends. Like I know all about their lives. I know their freaky shit. I know all the stuff they're into and shouldn't be into. It doesn't matter because they showed up for me or
Mhm.
for the band. And like, we are like blood brothers, sisters forever. So yeah, if you see our GoFundMe, you got to let me know that you heard about it from Bill's show. And we're just super excited because the next 2 projects, Mickie James is in one of them.
Mhm.
Oh, she's coming over. She's coming over today to sing. Can you believe it?
Nice.
The
Nice.
duet. It's gonna be so sick and hot.
All the details are on the GoFundMe. Mickey is uh going to be on I Didn't Know.
Yeah, thank you. And the Lax. The Lax are country rappers. They're on fire. They've been blowing up for years. Super amazing audience. They're rapping on it. Literally, they're like, hey, what do you think of this? And I was like, the tears were rolling. Like these, and even my band, because I had like a stock 120 BPM rap online. I'm like, okay, this is 120, just stick it in there and cut it up. So like, and like we kind of got used to that when we were at practice. And then like when the Lax like did their portion of it, it was like I literally had tears in my eyes, and the guys were like, "Oh God, like these big old country, just let." And it's hot. Like everything that they came up with is like so dope. It's so perfect. And then Mickey will be playing like the other woman in the video, and it's like this sexy rain. We just got done making saving money. Okay, to rent a rainmaker would have been 5K for the day. We
mhm.
made our own out of PVC pipe, some YouTube videos that we watched, and sprinkler heads. I didn't. Our drummer did. It's on 2 poles. It's 20 feet long. Went on Facebook, said, I need a hand, DM me for details and payment. 10
Mhm.
people DM'd, hey, we need somebody to just stand there with a hose and work this rainmaker. I've got this much an hour. Will you do it? We've got this beautiful woman who is just breaking into the film industry and really trying to get credits on her IMDb. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Mhm.
speak. It's so amazing how many people out there want to be a part of something or want to help you. But if you sit there jerking off in your bedroom and not telling anybody about it, then how is anything going to get done? That's what I'm telling you. If you're listening to this, whatever it is that you want to do, be inspired, be full of joy, say your prayers to God, to the angels, universe, whatever you believe in, and just say, will you help me? And holy shit, wait till you see what happens. Magic. It's awesome.
I want to go back to Extreme Cheapskates. That's kind of how we got on the
Let's
top
do it.
of the this project. But uh, some of the clips, obviously, you're going to
Mm-hmm.
get a certain reaction.
Yeah.
Some of them, I mean, some of them aren't that shocking. I think in
They're not
context,
that shocking.
right?
They're not.
Is there a cheapskate thing you've seen on that show that you wouldn't even do? Like maybe it's
Oh
too
yeah.
for
I
you.
mean, there's some really weird stuff. And then, keep in mind it is entertainment and it is TV, but like so there's Extreme Cheapskates and then there's Callin' the Cheapskates. So you might not have seen Callin' the Cheapskates, but
Those,
that's the one where I'm like pooping in people's backyards and whatnot. And it's there to entertain you and make you feel better about your life that this weird chick is like taking a crap and dropping a deuce in somebody's backyard. But the thing is that maybe it'll make you think about the reason that we were dropping the Cosbys off at the pool in the backyard was because we were going to be gardening. We were going to be saving money because the Stapletons were spending so much money on groceries and the stuff's rotting in the back of the refrigerator with science projects like many of us have had. And you bought that freaking food and you didn't eat it. And it just goes to show you how much we waste or don't use or spend. It's like grow some of your own stuff in the backyard. It doesn't take that much money or water or energy. Okay, well, you're not going to take a dump and do a compost, but would you compost? Okay, you don't want to compost, that's too much work. Would you garden? So it's kind of like a would you work backwards and like, oh yeah, well, I won't take a dump, but I'll garden. Okay, great. Then my work is done here. Then I've shown you like, and then composting, what did they do? There was something I saw online where they started to get rid of something and like the amount of it was a small village somewhere overseas. They started to do something. I can't remember what the variable was, but the amount of waste that they saw, I think it was composting or doing something like that. Like the amount of waste reduction in like their trash was just astronomical.
yeah.
There's so many things that and you know what? It might not affect you and it might not affect your kids or your grandkids, but down the line, there's going to be a shit show on this earth. And you don't need to believe in global warming or all that. Like, just take a look at what we're doing to our earth. Take a look at all these precious animals in the sea that there's just picture after picture of like their faces are just mangled in nets. Or one of the things floating around on social media now is like that top of this. Can you see this?
Mm-hmm.
Like this thing
The ring.
here, this plastic thing here, get rid of it, cut it up because it ends up in the trash and a bird gets it and it gets over its throat. And it's just, we are the most bastard community of fungus. Humans are like, just here we are. We're just going to do whatever we want to do and hurt everything around us. So, you don't need to believe in all that to realize we can conserve and start. If you don't need to buy it, don't buy it. We just buy. And there's so much stuff like, I'll just buy something and then here it is in a drawer. I already had it, but I'm too lazy to go like, or just mental note, like, all right, I'm going to put all my Sharpies in one place so that I'm like, oh, I'm just going to buy another Sharpie. Okay, great. If it ran out, buy another Sharpie, but not if you have 20 of them at home. I just think our society is so like swipe left, swipe right, dismiss, short attention span theater that you can save a lot of money by just thinking ahead there. Yeah. That's my question. Great questions, man. You're on top of your game. I was checking you out before the interview. Thanks for having me.
I'm trying.
Super good.
Shit show was, pun intended or not, was appropriate, but it's good that you're actually trying to improve somebody's life. It's not like a revenge thing. So
no. But I have done there was plenty of shit shows in the past when I was young and dumb, and before there was cameras. That's before your time, and it was a glorious time because you could literally shit in a bag and just drive by somebody's house and chuck it at theoretically speaking, you could chuck it at the front door on the windshield of their car. If you're pissed at them or they pissed you off or something like that. It was a beautiful time back in the day. And now you can't do anything because everybody's got a doorbell camera that they can link things. You can't even show up on somebody's stalking. No, admiring. You can't even show up on somebody's front steps, admiring them and leaving them a gift without them knowing who you are. There's still ways around it though, Bill. It
Hey, there's
involves a
always
lot of
Halloween.
pillows and garbage bags. What were you gonna say?
There's always Halloween.
There's always no shit, right? Good point.
So I don't think I realized this. Like, I knew your work from TNA, but you were a singer before you joined the company.
Oh, of course. That's how
Can
I got
you,
in.
yeah, can you
Yeah.
talk about how, how that opportunity came up? Because I always assumed the opposite, that you kind of got in the
Oh,
business and became, started singing afterwards.
I was singing since I was a little kid. I was in movies, films, all the entertainment, all the contests, all that stuff. Got my record deal with one camp in Minneapolis, Prince's camp with another on the way out. Did that. It was really flourishing with music, open for tons of amazing musical acts,
Mhm.
legends, icons. And my lawyer just said they're looking for a fresh face in wrestling, not necessarily with the wrestling background. Do you want to audition, try out, submit? I don't know what they call it in wrestling. We call it an entertainment audition.
Mhm.
And I just kept trying and trying and trying. And I thought I got it on my own merit, but I think I got it because my lawyer probably just threatened Jeff Jarrett and said, Jerry and Jeff, and said, you're putting her on, or, it's this or that. It's, yeah, like I'm pretty sure. So, whatever, I got the job. It was a chance of a lifetime. It was an opportunity of a lifetime. Of course, I was like really young and I didn't understand just how good I had it, what a
Mhm.
blessing it was. And now in hindsight, I'm like, oh, dope. Like, you really had it. You really had it good. But we had some really great times. I worked with amazing people. I met Vince Russo. I've been on his brand for like 7 years, kind of doing my own thing now, but was with him forever. We started his bucket full of chicken necks. Like we've just done
Mhm.
so much together. And TNA was one of the greatest things that ever happened in my life. I might not have seen it at the time,
Mhm.
but it really truly was. And I'm so grateful for it.
Well, I'm glad you have kind things and good memories to think
Oh,
back.
always,
I
always.
I'll ask this. It'll be my last question, but it's a two-part
Great.
question. Uh, you're listed as a songwriter. As I mentioned, you had a career in performing in the arts.
We were just
Do you
talking
have
about this.
do you have a favorite song that you contributed to in TNA? And do you have a favorite on-air
Yes.
angle that you were a part of?
And I do have a favorite. What was the last question? I stepped on you.
A part of on-air an on-air angle that you were a part of?
Yes. Well, first off, Trinity's entrance music was called Dodging Bullets, and it was just because of all of the people. Like I was being massively sexually harassed by not any of the boys and nobody in wrestling. And it's in Jerry Jarrett's book, and he's passed, and so it's water under the bridge now. But there was somebody at Panda Electric that was writing the checks that was really, really just abusing me pretty badly with just I was always like trying to hide from him because I didn't want him to see me. And I just was just so the name of the song is called Dodging Bullets. And if you listen to it, oh my God, the words are woo. You couldn't even get away with how graphic they are. They're really, really graphic. Dodging a bullet, we can all like gun compared to like something that shoots stuff. And it was just like, wow. And that was her entrance music. And she was a really good friend of mine. Um, a lot of the entrance music meant, I mean, I wrote it. Like if you write, whether it be poetry or music or limericks or anything, journal, writing is like your baby. It's like a part of you. I don't have kids. That's like the closest thing I can say is here's a creation, which is nothing compared to a child. But I'm just saying like the attachment and the importance that that has to me. So everything that I wrote with Dale Oliver for TNA was spectacular and special, and it lives on. Um, Angles, though, I mean, and it's funny.
Mhm.
All the angles that I loved the most when I said, I'm doing a GoFundMe, will you guys kick in $10? It wasn't $10. It was like greatly more than that. And every single boy that I asked that I had a great angle with was more than happy to kick in. And then all of the ones that were sort of like, they said they would, but they didn't. And I know that sounds shitty, but like I keep track of that stuff. I'm a woman. That's what we're good at. Women and elephants. We remember everything forever, forever. So it's ironic that the angles that I loved the most when it came time to people stepping up were the guys that were like, I didn't even have to ask them, like they kicked in. All my stuff with Eric Watts. Eric was just a great mentor to me and a freaking badass dude. Eric still supports and comes to shows these to this day. Elix Skipper still is at all of our Georgia shows, showing up, bringing people. just bringing the party. Like these guys they're solid human beings. The Dups, like Trevor Murdoch, still a dear friend to this day, totally showed up and supported us lately. The Dup stuff was hysterical. Like go back on that because it was like kind of real. It was a shoot. Like people don't understand like, oh, her expressions. I mean, a lot of it was real. And it was too busy to even give me any guidance or teach me anything. It was like, just throw me to the wolves, go out there and do it. So those angles were great. I loved it when Scott Hudson stepped in and he would interview me and I would do this like, like it was really funny shit. It was really good. All the stuff with the sex locker room, just being disgusted with everybody, even Glenn Gilberti, like always disgusted with him. Sonny Siaki. There's some really good stuff in there. And I go back and it's not like wrestling is today. And I see now why it's not. They were following. It wasn't just a promo statically shot. It was like the audience was included and they were involved with everything. Like they got to see stuff unfolding live. Like there was no script on a lot of that stuff. It was wild, wild west. Listening to Mike Tenay, now that I know how great this guy was and is, and Don West, God rest his soul, like really, really talented people. Jerry Lynn, AJ Styles, like these guys are just so talented, and we had such good dialogue together. So I miss those days. I want, God, Billy Corgan, come on. We've been talking forever. TNA, we've been talking forever. I was talking to Scott D'Amore for a while, and now Scott's doing some other things, but like I would love to get back into wrestling, and I'm actively trying to, just because I know a lot now, and I really would love to blow it up and be like something special or the worst heel you've ever seen. Like I get it now.
Yeah.
Great questions. Great questions. You're awesome.
Thank you. You've been an awesome guest. And this is not a question, but I will say this. The TNA rebrand, like maybe that opens up the door a little more for something like,
God, I'm trying, bro.
They're talking about celebrating the past, and I don't know, maybe there's some room for that, because I feel like I'll say more than some other companies, they're very good at paying homage to the past in a
for sure.
Including,
for sure.
Not that, again, not that other companies don't. It's just I feel like TNA has always been very good at that, that sort of bridge between the past and the future. I mean, you saw it if you saw Slammiversary, like Earl Hebner came back and redeemed himself.
I was on it, bitch. Way to do your research. I was on it. So you're right. But yeah, I was on the last Slammiversary. They did an amazing job. I was excited to be a part of it, and I got paid, which usually it's like pulling teeth to get anybody to pay you anything. Like that was the ultimate. I would have done it for free. But the fact that they're like, give us your 1099 and W9, 1099, whatever they needed. Give us your stuff, and here's some money to compensate you for your time, even though it was even in the city and state that I reside. It was in Nashville.
Oh, no, I meant Saturday.
Oh, excuse me then. I take back calling you a bitch.
I was like, wait, no, I know. I
take back calling you a bitch.
No, I know that one was last year or 2 years ago.
Maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah, so they were in Montreal on Saturday, and they had Earl came out, and they did the whole "you screwed Brett" thing, and he like redeemed himself. So it's like, yeah, they're acknowledging the Montreal screw job, but Earl Hebner face turn in Montreal, like who would have thought? So
I love it. And then one more thing I was going to tell you that I forgot to mention was Father James Mitchell and just Father James Mitchell. Absolutely one of the most amazing men I've ever worked with in entertainment, let alone sports entertainment or the wrestling business. Like that guy is just fluid on the mic, and his brain just works in a strange ways. So I want to make sure I'm sure there's many people I forgot, but I just want to make sure I said that. Dude, thank you so much. I know we were only supposed to do like 20 minutes or something, but like, I really appreciate the time that you put into this interview. I do a lot of them, so I know who's doing homework or not. And then I have a podcast, and half the time I don't do my homework because there isn't even any time, because I'm producing it and cutting it and promoting it and posting it. And, you get a guest on, you do a little bit, but you did a really great job. And I appreciate that. I know that takes your time. So I will promote the living bejesus out of this whenever it's out.
All right, I'll close with this.
Close it out.
promoted the GoFundMe
Ah,
for the two music videos. Anything else plug or promote before we get out of here?
we've got two music videos coming up. We just can't wait for you to see them. It's going to be way different than Just Say Yes. It's way, 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 way rock. Just Say Yes was great. It was pop. Got a lot of roots in the pop world, but now our new guitarist that we found on Craigslist, he's a rock guy. He's a shredder.
Mm.
So you have to go with what you have in your cast, and our cast is rock right now. So these two actually we got like 7 in the pipeline. Oh, so excited! And they're all just like face melting rock. Like if you love guitar and you love just belting it out rock and roll, then you're gonna freaking love our original set this time around. It's gonna be really, really fun.